For decades, we've been told something very specific about cooling a home in a humid climate. If the air feels heavy, sticky, unbearable, there is only one solution. A compressor. A sealed refrigerant loop. And a machine that consumes electricity every single second it runs. But what if that entire assumption is incomplete? Because somewhere in plain sight, there exists a system that cools humid air using nothing but salt, sunlight, and gravity. No compressor. No refrigerant. No electricity. And the most surprising part? It can be built for around $20. So the real question isn't whether it works. The real question is, if this was possible all along, why did we stop building it? Before we dive in, if you're interested in forgotten engineering, hidden energy systems, and technologies that challenge modern assumptions, subscribe, because this is exactly where those stories begin. In hot, humid climates, cooling isn't just about lowering temperature. It's about removing moisture. Because humidity is what makes heat feel unbearable. It traps sweat on your skin. It blocks natural cooling. It turns 90 degrees Fahrenheit into something far more dangerous. And here's the part most people never realize. Your air conditioner is not mainly a cooling machine. It is a dehumidifier that happens to cool air afterward. In many climates, especially humid regions like the southern United States or coastal Asia, up to 70% of energy use in air conditioning goes into one invisible task. Removing water from the air. So the question becomes, what if humidity itself could be removed, without electricity? What if air conditioning's most expensive step could be done passively? And that's where this story begins to take an unexpected turn. Long before modern air conditioners existed, ancient builders faced the same problem. Heat is survivable. Humidity is not. In ancient Persia, wind towers, known as badgers, were designed to capture airflow and guide it into homes. But there's something less known. Many of these structures weren't just wind catchers. They used natural materials, salt, clay, and porous earth, to influence moisture in the air. Salt-lined chambers preserved food. Grain storage rooms stayed dry for months. Textiles resisted decay. Across North Africa and the Mediterranean, builders noticed something consistent. Certain materials don't just sit in air, they absorb it. Moisture disappears into walls, plaster, and minerals. And then, when heat rises, that same moisture is released again. A natural cycle emerges. Absorbed during humidity. Released during heat. No machines. No electricity. Just physics. But for centuries, this remained fragmented knowledge. No unified system. No engineered structure, until much later. When researchers began asking a radical question. What if this behavior could be engineered into a vertical cooling system? And that's where modern experimentation began. At the center of this idea is a simple structure. A vertical chimney. But inside this chimney are three functional zones. And each one performs a critical role. At the bottom, incoming air enters through shaded openings. It passes through a bed of desiccant material. Calcium chloride. Silica gel. Zeolite. These materials have one defining property. They attract water vapor from air. Not through filters. Not through electricity. But through chemical affinity. Water molecules literally leave the air and bind to the material. So the air exits this zone already drier. This is the most energy-intensive part of modern AC systems. But here, it happens passively. And that raises a strange question. If the hardest part can be done for free, what happens next? Now the air enters the second stage. A wet surface. A cooling pad. A porous layer of moisture. And now physics changes everything. Because dry air behaves differently than humid air. Dry air can absorb water. And when water evaporates, it steals heat energy from the air. So the temperature drops. In humid conditions, evaporative cooling fails because the air is already saturated. But once moisture is removed, it suddenly becomes extremely effective. Temperature drops of 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit become possible. But the system still isn't finished. There's one more mechanism at work. At the top of the chimney, sunlight heats a dark surface. This warms the air inside the vertical column. Warm air rises. And as it rises, it pulls more air from below. This is known as the stack effect. No fan. No motor. No electricity. Just airflow created by heat itself. But there's something even more interesting happening. That same solar heat also regenerates the desiccant below, drying it out. Resetting it. Preparing it for the next cycle. So the system doesn't stop. It cycles daily. Night absorbs moisture. Day releases it. Sun resets everything. A self-running thermal loop. But does it actually work in real conditions? That's where research enters the story. From the 1970s onward, serious institutions began studying this concept. Not fringe groups. Not hobbyists. But major energy research organizations. Including National Renewable Energy Laboratory, Fraunhofer Institute, Florida Solar Energy Center, universities in India and Australia. Their findings were consistent. Solar regenerated desiccant systems can reduce indoor humidity from extreme levels down to comfortable ranges, and more importantly, they consume 40 to 80% less energy than conventional dehumidification systems. Field tests showed something remarkable. Supply air temperatures reaching 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 75 degrees Fahrenheit in humid climates. In other words, comfort level cooling, without traditional compression refrigeration. But there's a catch. And this is where things start to get complicated. If this system is so efficient, why isn't it everywhere? The answer isn't technical. It's structural. First, integration. Modern homes are built around centralized HVAC systems. Ducts. Compressors. Sealed loops. A salt chimney doesn't plug into that system. It replaces it, and replacement is rarely welcomed by existing industries. Second, control. Air conditioning is a controlled market. Refrigerants are regulated. Technicians are certified. Maintenance is recurring. A salt-based system has none of these. No subscriptions. No service contracts. No replacement cycles. And third, perception. People trust machines they can buy. Not vertical structures filled with salt and sunlight. So even if the physics works, adoption becomes the real barrier. And that leads to the most important question. Was this ever about performance, or about compatibility with an industry? So where does this leave us today? The salt chimney concept is not theoretical. It has been built in experimental forms. It works best in climates with high humidity, strong sunlight, hot daytime temperatures. But it is not a complete replacement for all air conditioning systems. Instead, it fits into a different category. Preconditioning the air, reducing humidity load before mechanical cooling. That alone can dramatically reduce energy consumption. So who benefits most? Off-grid homes. Rural areas. Low-energy buildings. Sustainable architecture projects. Regions with high electricity costs. And who should be cautious? Dense urban apartments. Sealed modern HVAC systems. Extremely cold or variable climates. The most realistic future is not replacement. It is integration. Hybrid systems. where passive engineering does the heavy lifting, and machines handle the final adjustment. So let's return to the original question. Can a $20 salt chimney really replace air conditioning? Not entirely. But it reveals something far more important. Modern cooling systems are not always the most efficient solution. They are the most commercialized solution. And in that gap between engineering and industry, forgotten ideas remain. This system shows that humidity, the most expensive part of cooling, does not always require high energy input. Sometimes it only requires the right material and the right structure, placed in the right environment. The science was never missing. Only the implementation was. So let's return to the central question. Can a $20 salt-based chimney really replace modern air conditioning? The honest answer is both simple and complicated. It cannot fully replace a modern AC system in every situation. At least not in the way most people imagine cooling today. But that is not the real story. Because what this system actually proves is something far more important. It proves that the most expensive part of cooling a humid space is not lowering temperature. It is removing moisture from the air, and that specific job, dehumidification, is where this idea becomes powerful. When humidity is reduced first, everything changes. Air that once felt heavy and suffocating becomes manageable. Evaporative cooling suddenly starts working efficiently. And the energy demand drops dramatically. So instead of replacing air conditioning entirely, this system challenges the way we think about it. It suggests a different model. Not one machine doing everything through compression, but a simple sequence of natural processes doing the same job in stages. Now the bigger question becomes, if such a low-cost system can handle a major part of the cooling load, why is it not widely used in modern buildings? The answer is not purely technical. It comes down to design standards, industry infrastructure, and how modern HVAC systems evolved around sealed, service-based technology. So the final verdict is this. The salt chimney is not a complete replacement for AC. But it is a serious reminder that cooling does not always need to be expensive, mechanical, or energy-intensive. Sometimes, it only needs to be rethought. And that idea alone changes how we look at heat, humidity, and the systems we depend on every day. Because once you understand what air conditioning is really doing, you start to realize something unexpected. We may not be limited by physics. We may be limited by the systems we chose to build around it.